Welcome to day 3 of A Cricket Sings. This has been such an interesting poem and story to read through. We've found out that it has a rhythm. We've found out that there are a number of words we can find out about, like inspecting. We found out that the girl is having some thoughts going on in her mind about what she thinks the cricket is doing and what she thinks the cricket is saying to her. Maybe she thinks the cricket is singing to her. Maybe she thinks she needs to let this cricket go free. There's lots of thinking that's happening behind the words that you can discover. Did anyone have trouble with the word inspect on page 7? You may notice that this is quite a long word to decode. We can still do it though. We just have to be clever about the way we do it. So we can straight away see that the word in is at the start of inspect. So you can actually go like this. In. And you can decode that word first. Then secondly, you can decode this. You'll notice that there's a blend, sp, and kt at the end. Sp, ekt. So you can break up the words and you can chunk them before you go and decode them. And that's one strategy for trying to figure out the words. Try that today. We're going to try to put these words into our sound boxes where we break up each of the sounds. For instance, you may notice that in the word free, there's the double E, and there's a little rule. When you see the double E, you say, "Ee, it's a bumblebee party!" It's true. I wonder if you can pause the video and try and break up some of these words so we put them into the sound boxes. Give it a try. Okay, here we go. What's the first thing you notice when you look at this list? You can see 2 letters in one sound box. That means when we say it, we have to make the sound together, like this. Whoa! I'm just going to leave that in the video. F-r-e, free. Now you try. Ready, go. F-r-e, free. What about this? G-r-ass, grass. Notice that the double S makes one sound. Here's one in the last 3 words that's really important to point out. When you put ng together, it makes the sound You try. Like this. Sings. Or swing. Finally, swings. Did you break up those sounds into sound boxes? If you did, nice job. One of our goals is to make our reading sound like the way we speak. Now, the first time we read, we're not going to sound like that. If you're reading this on Monday, when you were reading this on Monday, it wouldn't have sounded fluent straight away because you're learning new words and you're learning new sounds. So your parents may encourage you to say, "Hey, let's try that again one more time so it makes it sound fluent." But you're going to need time. You're going to need time to get ready to make it sound fluent. So this sentence says, "I inspect the cricket inspects me." I want you to try that. Oh, no, I don't want you to try that. I want you to listen to what it might sound like the first time. The first time I read it, it could sound like this. I inspect the cricket. The cricket inspects me. You get the point? It doesn't quite flow like a river yet, and that's okay because it's the first time we're reading it. The second time it should sound a little bit more fluent. I inspect the cricket inspects me. Better, but there's still not very much expression in my voice. The third time and beyond, it should sound like this. I inspect the cricket inspects me. It should flow like a river. It should sound like the way you speak. That's your goal for the 3rd or 4th time you read a story. The final thing that we're going to do today is work on some punctuation. So, punctuation means periods, where we do a stop, commas, where we pause and then continue reading, exclamations, where we exclaim it, so we do exclamation marks, and then question marks is where we ask a question. So today, what do you notice in this story, or in these three lines? What can you see? Take a close look. Periods, commas, exclamations. I see period, period, comma, period. That's it. Let's talk a little bit more about those. There are 3 periods. That means to stop. You stop reading. Now, a lot of us try and read on to the next line, but it's really important to stop reading at the period, like this. Read with me. I spot a cricket in the grass. You try. I stopped reading because it told me to stop. It's really important to pay attention to the periods. Now the next line says the exact same thing. I spot a cricket in the grass. But what if I changed it so that instead of it being a period, it was actually an exclamation mark. Do you see it? Right here. So now read it with the change. It will sound totally different. I spot a cricket in the grass. Or, I spot a cricket in the grass. When we put an exclamation, it doesn't just change the word grass, it changes the whole sound of the sentence. And that's why it's really important to use expression when we read, because that's another key part of reading. What about the sentence here? At last. Read with me. At last, I trapped the cricket in the grass. Oops, I'll try that again. At last, I trapped the cricket in the glass. Now, the period is here, but there's also a comma, so I need to pause. Let's try it with the pause. At last, I trapped the cricket in the glass. I had to stop at the end of glass, but why didn't I stop at end? Because sentences end at the end of a period, not at the end of a line. You tried it with me. Sentences end at the end of a period, not at the end of a line. So the reading, we keep doing the reading even if it's the end of a line until we get to the period. Here, a comma just tells us to pause, to slow down, and then to keep going. Let's try it one more time with the comma. Here we go. At last, I trapped the cricket in the glass. Did you try your pause? It's now time to go on to our reading for today. This is the last time we'll be doing a Cricket Sings. So, well done completing this book. I hope it sounds like the way you speak now. That should have been your goal by the end of this, to make it sound like the way you speak. Happy reading!